Hi folks, this is Paul Brawley with Fish Finder Guide Service. Now that we've had a couple of northers come through and the water temperatures have dropped into the upper 60s, around 67.5 degrees or so, we're going to be concentrating our efforts on the sides of the ICW. We're going to be looking at the western edge, which would be the edge on this side here. You're going to try to stay in the ICW. You're going to use your trolling motor on anchor mode and or just go down it very slowly, throw in popping corks and shrimp, or you can throw soft plastics and you're going to be targeting speckled trout and some redfish, and if you're lucky enough you may get a flounder or two. You're also going to be looking at all of these little cuts that have channels on them. This one has a channel. Over here a little bit, there's a couple of little troughs that run in this one. There's a channel right here, and over in here there's a channel. You're going to be looking at the corners of those channels where they meet the ICW, and you're going to be concentrating using the same thing, using rattle traps with shrimp, popping corks with shrimp, soft plastics. You can even try using just a lead head and some live shrimp. You're going to be looking for speckled trout, redfish, and if you're lucky enough, I'll say it again, a flounder. This long cut running back this way is what we call the Billings channel. That channel there, all on the edges of it, you should be able, on a sunnier days, you should be able to see like where the fish are leaving, making mud outs, smoke outs, and you would want to try to find some of that, power pole down, throw your live or dead shrimp under lead heads in that area, and you should be able to pick up some nice black drum and redfish through there. You're also going to be moving into this area here where you have all these crash channels, different cuts channels. You got your Humble channel there, the Causeway channel here, the bird channel here. We call that the bird channel because this island right here is loaded with birds and it's a bird sanctuary. So we call that the bird channel. You're going to be looking at all these different channels that are in the boat hole area and the boat hole proper. This big trough right in here. You're going to be looking all in there using the same methods, either using cork and shrimp, fishing the edges of it, or fishing the drops of it with shrimp on lead heads. It can be live or dead. You're going to catch more trout and reds and possibly flounder on the live. You'll catch more drums on the deads. So just really concentrate on all the channels in that area. With the water temperature drops, there's a few cut throughs. There's a cut through here that has a channel, and there's a cut through here that has a channel. Could also be really nice and hold some fish right now. These fish seem to be concentrating not necessarily in the middles of those channels, but on the edges of them. So give that some effort and try all those areas, just working through there. I'm mainly using shrimp right now, or if it gets very sunny, I may fish a flat with some cut bait, but it's not going to be far off of one of those channels. Okay, we're going to move south of the JFK Causeway, and we're still going to be looking along the intercoastal here, especially on the western edge. You're going to hopefully find it during a time that the tide is moving. You're going to use your trolling motor on anchor mode, or you can just use your trolling motor real slow going against the current, which requires a little bit more work. Throw in popping corks with shrimp about 18 inches below. I like using a 1/16 ounce jig head. That way it kind of keeps the shrimp down and it expedites your bite. The shrimp's not trying to jump around to get away. You're going to be trying to catch trout and redfish and maybe a flounder through that drop on the western side. You're also going to concentrate on all these little cut throughs. There's a bunch of cut throughs with channels on them. You're going to be looking at all of those cut throughs, especially the ones with troughs or channels. You're going to be throwing the same thing during a little bit later in the day where these things widen up behind these islands, and there's a bunch of areas like that where it comes through and it widens up. You can post up and throw out onto the flat looking for black drum and some redfish. I would throw 1/4 ounce jig heads or 1/8 ounce jig heads with either live or dead shrimp on the bottom of where all those channels come out and they Y. You're looking at either side of that. I like to kind of post up in the middle and just throw out there. Just keep kind of a tight line, your rod low, and you're waiting for those pulls right through there. But that's kind of what's going on right in this area. All right, we're going to come off the intercoastal and we're going to come west over here to the King Ranch shoreline. I'm going to be talking more or less to my wade fishermen. All along this edge of the King Ranch, especially around this big curve that would be just north of Pure Oil, from the pier that comes off of King Ranch, all around that area there. You're going to take your boat all the way up to the shoreline and power pole down. Be careful because there are scattered rocks through there, not many, and you'll probably find most of them wade fishing. But when you're going up, shut down in a couple of foot of water and kind of use your trolling motor to go in, power pole down. You guys are going to jump off. I suggest using plum with chartreuse tail, either darts or use the tout tails, the paddle tails. Or you could use maybe glow with green. You're going to make wades, 100 yards or so from your boat, throwing in all the potholes, stay at about maybe, I would say, between knee and crotch deep water. And you're just going to be bouncing those worms through those potholes. You're going to be looking for bigger trout and redfish. You could possibly pick up some flounder closer to the shore. It's not really known for that, but there have been some really nice trout and some really nice redfish all along that bend right there. So just kind of pick your spot. You notice this little trough right here where the water comes in and out of this little back marsh right there. There's a bunch of little sticks and a duck blind right there. So be careful going in. That little bend right there has also been pretty good fishing if you're wanting to wade and try to catch a few fish. If you come over here into this area right here on a heavy north wind, this is back to the boat fishermen, you might post up. There's a trough that runs through there. I don't know if you can see that trough or not. I know you can't now because I put the yellow mark, but if you look on your map, you'll see a trough. I've been posting up on the north side of that and throwing south with that northeast wind, and in that trough you can pick up some black drum, trout, and redfish using shrimp either on the bottom or under popping corks. Anyway, you guys be safe, have a good day, and be courteous to one another.